Welcome to CaliforniaAgNet.com. I'm Patrick Kavanaugh outside the federal courthouse downtown Fresno. Just left the courtroom where Judge Oliver Wenger was presiding. Pacific Legal Foundation, James Burling and his colleague Brandon Middleton, right?
That's correct.
Made oral arguments about the Delta smelt and the unconstitutional and how it may be unconstitutional to regulate it under some commerce laws. Explain what you presented today in your oral arguments.
The bottom line is that the federal government has the power only to regulate those things that affect interstate commerce. And our argument is that the Delta smelt is a species that has nothing to do with interstate commerce. People do not come to California to fish it, there's no commercial fishery for it, and the fish, the Delta smelt, are not used for any commercial purpose. Therefore, we're arguing that the United States government lacks authority to regulate the Delta smelt, lacks authority to have all of this biological opinion and problems that have been created. Now, Judge Wenger, he wasn't sure about the arguments. He looked at other cases from other circuits that have held the United States government has authority under the Commerce Clause in cases he thought were similar. We think they're different. He expressed some skepticism of our argument, but I think the bottom line is, no matter what Judge Wenger argues today, this is going up to the Ninth Circuit, and eventually, no matter who wins or loses, they're going to ask the U.S. Supreme Court to take this case. This is a big issue.
Wow. Now, that's going to be decided later on, whatever, or we'll go up higher in the court system. What are some of the positive comments we may have heard, the discussions going around with Judge Wenger today?
One thing that Judge Wenger was very, very unhappy with the government's argument that it did not have to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act and do more environmental analysis. At one point in the argument, Judge Wenger turned to the federal government's attorney and said, "You and I are on different planets."
Wow, we heard that.
The government was not impressing the judge at all. The government was trying to argue that really there's been no decision yet that needs to be subject to the National Environmental Policy Act. But then again, it said there were decisions that have been effectuated already. The government's argument was thinking in Judge Wenger's terms all over the place and not really consistent. And Wenger was quite unhappy with that. And I think we can expect Wenger to come down and have a rather firm ruling about the government's duties under the National Environmental Policy Act, to look at what's happening in the Delta and look what's happening in the Valley. Wenger talked about all the economic and environmental impacts that are being caused by the biological opinion and the shutdown of water to the Valley. I think Wenger understands this is a very serious problem. It's having tremendous impact on the people and the environment of the Valley, and that's something that I think he wants to see taken care of.
And I think Judge Wenger used the word catastrophic, the nature that the ruling has been catastrophic to the Valley in terms of the fallow land and everything else, the entire people situation out of work.
Yeah, and when you have this sort of catastrophic effect, this is clearly the epitome of the sort of thing that you need to look at first with the National Environmental Policy Act. We talk about doing environmental impact statements all the time to protect, a little snail here or to protect some trees over here. But here we're talking about the ecosystem and the social environment of this valley just being destroyed, as he said, catastrophically. Clearly this is the sort of thing that we need to do some more analysis on before we shut the pumps off the next time.
I hope that we can get some ruling, something needs to happen before this, so we can keep the pumps on at the end of the year.
I think the judge is well aware of the time schedule.
Great.
Some federal courts seem to be a little bit out of it and really concerned more about their own schedules. I think this judge really understands the issues that are facing the people in the Valley, and I think that he is going to move accordingly.
Well, with James Burling, he's the attorney for the Pacific Legal Foundation. He's the Director of Litigation at the Fresno Federal Courthouse, where we just left the courtroom with Judge Oliver Wenger in some oral arguments. This will continue. Patrick Kavanaugh, California Ag Network.